Today I'm going to show you an AI tool that honestly flipped my entire content workflow overnight in a way that feels completely permanent. After 2 decades of editing, juggling timelines, and hunting for clips, I finally found something that actually helps me spend less time on the grunt work and more time on creative choices. If you are a solo creator or an editor wearing all the hats, please stick around because this one tool might save you hours every single week. Full disclosure, this is a sponsored video, but I genuinely wouldn't be making it if I didn't believe it was worth talking about. My name is Alex from Eternal Visuals, and I want to walk you through what Vizard does, why it's actually different from the half-baked AI tools out there, and how you can drop it into your current process without ripping everything apart. For years, every new AI editor I tried promised miracles but ended up delivering frustrating, half-finished results. Either they made you upload everything to a slow cloud and wreck the file quality, or they generated a one-size-fits-all edit that left out the nuances that editors actually care about. So, when Vizard reached out, I was admittedly quite skeptical about the whole thing. But I decided to test it the way I test everything else, with actual footage, real problems, and a very tight deadline. My first test was with script-driven talking heads, which is basically the bread and butter of modern content creation. I took a 12-minute session of me doing multiple takes of the same script, which was just a usual mess of different pauses, higher energy lines, and a handful of great moments buried inside. I dropped that long video into Vizard, pasted the script text as a prompt, and then I told it to build me a clean, concise cut. Then, I simply leaned back and let the technology take over. What happened next actually surprised me because in under 6 minutes, Vizard scanned the footage, matched the script to the best takes, and stitched together a smooth edit using the strongest performances. It wasn't perfect because I didn't want it to be, but it provided a fantastic starting point that saved me from doing all that boring, repetitive work. It nailed the pacing, and it picked the lines that felt the most genuine to the viewer. It also flagged alternate takes for me, so if I wanted to swap a line for a different delivery, everything was already there waiting. There was no hunting through clips for 5 minutes at a time, and no awkward audio pops to deal with. It was just a real usable cut that let me jump straight into the fun part of creative refinements. What really matters about tools like this is how they integrate with your existing setup. Some platforms force you to work inside their small, button-limited editors and then make you export and re-import everything, which kills any professional workflow. Vizard, on the other hand, gives you ready-to-post clips plus the ability to hand off assets in a way that doesn't force you to rebuild your timelines from scratch. It truly feels like having a junior assistant who does the rough assembly and then hands you the baton for the final pass. Now, I wanted to push this even harder, so I threw a pretty gnarly project at the system. I used an hour-long interview series I shot for a nonprofit last year that was filled with wide and close cameras, plus external audio. Normally, syncing, watching, selecting, and building a highlight reel from that much footage would be a full day of work or more. Vizard scanned the directory, recognized the multi-camera structure, and asked if I wanted to sync everything up automatically. The analysis took a bit of time since it had to parse audio, faces, and the conversational rhythm, but while it was crunching, it definitely felt worth the wait. In about 20 minutes, it had analyzed everything and allowed me to create a really solid, usable draft. I told it I wanted a 5-minute highlight focused on the organization's story and the founder, and it immediately complied. 10 minutes later, it produced a tight sequence that used the boom audio, cut between wide and close as needed, and preserved all the natural reactions. If I wanted a different angle, switching cameras was as easy as clicking a clip and choosing an alternate angle from the menu. It even suggested camera switch patterns based on the dialogue cadence, which was incredibly impressive. The result was a shareable, coherent piece that would have taken me hours to assemble manually. The thing that really matters to creators is that Vizard didn't just spit out a flat file. It produced multiple short-form clips ready to publish. It also offered a content calendar entry to schedule them automatically, and that feature is an absolute game changer. Set your posting frequency, and Vizard will slice, queue, and schedule clips across your accounts so you don't have to babysit every single post. Let's break down exactly what makes this different from other tools you might have tried in the past. Many competitors insist on heavy uploads and compression, which kills your quality, but Vizard processes efficiently and keeps things looking like the original masters. Some AI editors give you a single assembled file and call it a day, but Vizard returns multiple snackable clips that are smartly trimmed for engagement. Other platforms focus only on editing but ignore publishing, leaving you with files you still have to schedule manually. With Vizard's content calendar and auto schedule, you can plan a whole month's worth of posts in one sitting and let the tool handle the rest. I also really appreciate that Vizard seems to understand the nuance of editorial intention. It doesn't try to convince you that your creativity isn't necessary. Instead, it offers smart suggestions and leaves the final decisions up to you. For pros, that balance is essential because we don't want robots replacing our taste. We want tools that reduce the mechanical noise so we can do what humans do best. A quick live example. On one of my tests, Vizard produced a set of 12 short clips from a single interview that were all driven by different hooks. It automatically suggested captions and thumbnails optimized for each platform, which saved me so much time. I scheduled them to publish every other day, and within a week, the channel saw increased engagement because consistent, high-quality clips were finally hitting the feed. Now, don't get me wrong, Vizard isn't perfect, and the initial analysis can take some time on massive projects. There are moments where I still prefer to tighten a cut manually because I have a very specific creative direction in mind. But that's actually by design. Vizard saves the heavy lifting and hands you the parts you actually want to tinker with. Compared to a system that expects you to do everything, or a system that does everything and strips your creative control away, this really is the sweet spot. For editors who live inside professional software, think of Vizard as a senior assistant who pre-assembles, selects, and builds a posting plan. If you want a starting timeline, it gives you sequences and clips you can easily import into your favorite editor. If you just want to publish fast, it gives you platform-ready shorts and a calendar to schedule them without the headache. One last practical bit to consider is pricing and scale, especially since other platforms force expensive enterprise tiers for useful features. Vizard's structure is very creator-focused, giving small teams and solo creators access to the things that actually matter: smart selection and scheduling. If you're trying to scale your content without hiring a whole social team, those features matter significantly more than a flashy UI. So what's the final takeaway? If you make long-form content and need to turn it into consistent short-form posts, Vizard could be the assistant you've been dreaming of. It doesn't replace your taste or your creative decisions, but it removes the repetitive parts of the process, gives you smart defaults, and helps you actually get content out there. If you're curious to try it, I've put a link in the description you can check out. Try it with one project and time how long assembly and scheduling take. I bet you'll be shocked at the time you reclaim. Alright, that's it for this demo, and I hope you found it useful. I really can't wait to see what you make with it, so I'll see you in the next one.